How's it going, everyone? Today we got a story time of the most spoiled brat of all time. So basically, the subscriber starts to like talking with this girl, and she's talking with him back. But since the girl is a bit of a spoiled brat, as soon as she learns that the subscriber is not from a billionaire family, which I don't know why she believed that in the first place, she decides that she is going to ghost him and then dump him. However, though, when the subscriber finds another girl that he's interested in, she immediately starts to get mad at him. The spoiled brat does, at least. It's a pretty crazy story, but it's also a nice karma story that'll make you feel a little bit satisfied at the end. So make sure to stick around, sit back, relax, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Press the like button right now to claim your very own free nothing. With that all being said, let's just jump right into it. So anyways, right, the subscriber who submitted this story, this all happened when the subscriber was chilling for the summer, right? He was single for the summer, and he was looking for like a summer fling type thing. And anyways, so the subscriber stays with his aunt. And his aunt is like, pretty loaded, bro. Like, the subscriber comes from a fairly, like, normal background, if that makes sense. But his aunt, like, struck it really big. I don't know if she married someone or built her own business. I don't know. Either way, right? She lives in Nantucket, which is this, a lot of people can go to Nantucket, but especially if you live in Nantucket, you're probably pretty loaded, bro. I'll just keep it a stack, right? So he's able for the summer, he goes to Nantucket, this place where it's like an island in the United States, which basically a lot of rich people go to. I'll just be straight up, but it's very beautiful. It's very nice. I've only been there once. I cannot afford a house in Nantucket, bro. The YouTube bread ain't bad, but it's not like that. Anyways, though, so yeah, sure enough, he is there for the summer, and this story all starts when the subscriber is just in like the mall at Nantucket, right? And he's kind of just chilling, he's kind of just vibing. And the subscriber's actually fairly decent when it comes to the ladies, right? And the subscriber has one friend on the island that he made about a week ago, so they're in the mall together, and they're just walking. And that's when, the subscriber's friend, and they're walking in the mall, kind of like taps him on the shoulder, and the subscriber's like, "What's good, bro?" And the guy's like, "Dude, like, I think that girl over there is like kind of like looking at you, looking you over. Not just like looking at you, like making eye contact for 1 second and like looking away, but like kind of eyeing you, bro." So the subscriber looks over and he sees this girl, and she's very beautiful, right? Should I give her a name? Should I give her a name? We'll call her Kate, because that's a go-to name. It's like Kate, Ava. Those are like the two names I use. I'm just not really creative, guys. Anyways, though, so we'll call this girl Kate, right? So it was pretty clear that, Kate was kind of interested in him. She'd like look over, smile, then look away, whatever. So the subscriber's friend's like, "Dude, like, do you think you're going to make a move?" And so Kate was like sitting with one of her friends or two of her friends. That detail isn't super important. And they're sitting at like this kind of like well, in the mall, there's a bunch of kind of like benches or whatever. You can sit down, maybe just take a break from all the shopping you're doing, right? And so the subscriber's like, "Bet, let me go over." So the subscriber walks over to where Kate's sitting and is like, hey, how's it going? Like, I'm new on the island, just trying to meet some friends, right? And Kate's like, "Oh, hey, like, how's it going? Like, hey, like, what's up?" And they kind of like talk back and forth. And so the subscriber is done talking with her, walks back to his friend, and his friend's like, dude, like, what's up? And the subscriber looks at him and just kind of like holds his breath for a second, smiles, and says, "Got her Snapchat, bro. We're hanging out." And like, obviously the subscriber's friend's like, "Oh, dude, that's awesome. Like, good stuff, man. Like, good work, good looks," right? And so basically what happened is the subscriber went over there. They talked it up a little bit. It was pretty clear that Kate was interested, right? And so they decided, okay, well, it's not that big of an island. Like, let's meet up somewhere. So I didn't get the specific details of like what the name of the place that they were meeting up at. Probably good for the subscriber's privacy anyways. So if I kind of name or describe a place that literally doesn't exist, I just kind of have to come up with something right now, but this is more or less the place that they went to, right? So they found some kind of like park type area, some kind of like chill, or not like a park type area. Maybe it was near a park, but it was a place where there's some restaurants, there was some life, but it also wasn't like a crazy bustling area, right? So they decided to go ahead and meet up. So the subscriber snaps or whatever and says, "Hey, like, do you want to, like, for meeting up tonight, do you want to get dinner?" So doing it pretty legit. Like, the subscriber's legitimately about to go on a date. So yeah, right. Anyways, the subscriber kind of clarifies, "Hey, like, do you want to go on like a date? And this was kind of like a date, but they went to a restaurant, right? Things were looking pretty good. And so anyways, he eventually gets there. He's kind of waiting around a little bit, and then, he sees Kate, walking towards him, and it's a pretty good night. So during the night, they have very standard first date discussions. So talk about a little bit like where they're from, a little bit of whatever. And here's the thing. I kind of gave a little summary in the beginning that like the Kate like eventually decides to like not leave him, right? But eventually like ghosts him and like decides to not respond or dump him in a sense because he's not from like the billionaire family, right? But here's the thing. The subscriber, I want to make it really clear. The subscriber at no point he wasn't trying to hide the fact that he came from like a normal family. And the fact that he was here is because, his aunt is like freaking loaded and she's like, yeah, of course you can stay with me, whatever, right? He wasn't ever hiding that. He just never made it super clear in either direction. And I guess Kate just assumed, oh, well, since he's on the island, probably there's certain connotations with that. He's staying here for the entire summer. Like, yeah, bro is probably doing pretty good. Anyways, though, so yeah, sure enough, they have a little conversation, a little just like first date talk, nothing too serious, nothing too crazy. And that is when, right, they're having a little conversation, and it's going pretty good. Things are actually going pretty good. And by the end of it, the subscriber's like, hey, like, I hope he had as good of a time as me. Like, what are you doing tomorrow night? And they were scheduled to go on a second date. Life's pretty good. So the subscriber gets back to his place, and, his friend that he met on the island just lives down the street. So his friend's already like waiting at the house, talking with his aunt, whatever. The friend got to know the subscriber's aunt a little bit. And when the subscriber walks in, both his friend and the aunt's like, first date. How'd it go? Right. And the subscriber's like, I think it went pretty good. We had a pretty good conversation, and she seemed, pretty interested. And when I, dropped the second date, she didn't hesitate at all and was like, yeah, of course, I'm free tomorrow. Let's do it. So things were looking pretty good. So anyways, right, next day comes around, and, the subscriber and this girl were texting a little bit, and they went on another date. And I'm just skipping through the second date because it's not super important. I think they didn't go to a restaurant this time. I think they went to something a little bit more casual, like maybe they went to bowling or a movie or something like a more fun / activity / casual, I guess, second date. And, things are pretty good. Things are looking pretty normal. Nothing too crazy, nothing out of the ordinary or anything. And, they planned to meet up that weekend or whatever again. And they were going to do, I don't know, maybe dinner. It doesn't really matter. So there's a couple days in between. So the subscribers, is texting this girl, whatever. And things are pretty good. They're talking back and forth. And then boom, all of a sudden, right, it's like she just stops responding to him. And it's a little weird. Kind of came out of the blue. The subscriber, though, isn't going to take it, not going to make it something deeper than it needs to be, you know what I mean? Like, if it's just not that deep, it's okay. It's whatever, right? So the subscriber's like, okay, like, this is fine. But we do have, we did say we were meeting Saturday, and it's super questionable, right? Or it's not super questionable. I mean, we kind of left it up in the air. We don't really know what's going on, or at least I don't really know when. I don't really know where. We just said that we wanted to have a date Saturday. So the subscriber was like, okay, like things are looking like she's not responding at the same rate, but that's okay. Maybe something came up. Maybe it's just not that deep. So he's like, hey, like, I know we had planned Saturday, but what's the deal? Like, what's good? Or he didn't say what's good, but he's like, oh, like, when do you want to do it? Like, I know a really good spot, which was recommended by his aunt, right? He's like, it's a really good spot. What time works for you? No response. Thursday. Still no response Saturday or Friday. And when Saturday rolls around, the subscriber just kind of like, that feature in iMessage where you can like emphasize a message. The subscriber didn't feel like double texting, but he just wanted to he's like, this is looking pretty bad. Like, it's pretty much looking like we're good. But he just emphasized the message just one more time just to see. And no response. So at that point, the subscriber goes back to the house or he's talking with his friend. His friend's like, dude, I don't know what happened. And the subscriber's like, it's not that deep. People go on dates sometimes and it just doesn't really work out. And, the subscriber's friend's like, yeah, but, she seemed pretty into you from what you were saying. And the subscriber's like, yeah, well, people can change their mind. Maybe something else came up. I don't really know. So the subscriber doesn't actually know at this point that there is a specific reason why she has completely ghosted him. However, through a very just like almost random / bizarre turn of events, the subscriber does learn exactly why. So anyways, right, the subscriber and his friend, it's been about a week. They're just, I I don't know exactly where they are. Let's just say that they're back in the mall, but they're somewhere where other people would be. And there's a girl who's not Kate, right? And they don't recognize her. And they're just chilling. And I think they go to like, they're waiting for something. Either they're waiting in line, they're waiting for a restaurant, they're sitting there. For some reason, they're waiting there together. Maybe they're just sitting at a bench. And this girl keeps like looking at both of them, or looking more closely at like the subscriber. And the subscriber's like kind of like turns to his friend. He's like, dude. And his friend's like, yeah, no, I see it too. And the subscriber's like, well, do you think she's interested? And the friend's like, dude, it's weird. It's like she's staring at you like in a weird way. Like I don't know how else to explain it. And the subscriber's like, yeah, I don't really know what's up. That's kind of strange. I'm just not gonna say anything. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like it is whatever at this point. And the subscriber's like, okay, whatever. But then the girl starts walking up to him. The subscriber's like, okay, like, alrighty now. I don't really know what's up, but sure. And this girl comes up to him and is basically like, hey, like, are you, says the subscriber's name. The subscriber's like, yeah, who are you? And the subscribers, or the girl is like, hey, like, I know, like, I'm kind of friends with, like, I know Kate. She didn't say I'm friends with Kate, which is very important for what's about to follow, but saying, oh, I know Kate, like the girl I used to go on dates with. And the subscriber's like, what? Because look, I guess it's a small enough island that some people know of each other, or they're just like, they're made aware. I don't really know, man. I don't really know. It's not my scene. And the girl's like, look, I don't know. I'm not really friends with her. I just happen to, I come out here because there's like a specific like person that I work for that, they have like a branch out here. So, they wanted me to come out and, they're giving me housing, whatever. I'm not really in the same circles as Kate or whatever, but I don't know. Like they were talking about you and like, I don't even think I should be like saying any of this or telling you this stuff, but I just thought it was a little bit messed up. So I thought I'd tell you. So at this point, the subscriber's interest is like beyond piqued, which, makes sense. My interest would be pretty piqued too. So this girl goes on to say that somehow that she just happens to be in a very large friend group that Kate happens to be with, like in the same friend group, right? I think she's friends of a friend, and on the island, like it's small enough that like you kind of just hang out with whoever's there. At least in this specific part. I don't know if it's true across the board, but that's just kind of like at least true for this kind of like community on the island. And she said that like basically Kate was like talking with all of her other friends who, live on the island, or at least they don't live on the island, man. Correction. They have a house on the island. So it's that type of money, right? And she was basically telling them about, oh, like I met this guy, whatever. And he's here for the whole summer. So I'm pretty sure that must have like a house up here. And for some reason, I don't like, the subscriber still to this day doesn't know how, but like one of the girls somehow either knew him and he didn't know her, or one of the girls that was talking with Kate knew someone who knew the subscriber. It was really weird. It's still to this day the subscriber doesn't totally know how this girl knows, but basically this girl is like no, like that's not true. Like, this guy doesn't actually have like a house on the island. He's like staying with like a relative or something, like a distant relative. And he's just like a normal kid. And here's the thing, bro. Like Kate, this girl's like, oh, like, what? Like, are you sure? And she's like, I don't know if I can be seen dating a society person. And at this point, right, the girl who's coming up and telling this to the subscriber started to feel a little bit uncomfortable. And she didn't say anything during this conversation, but I think her conscience almost forced her to find the subscriber, or like not find the subscriber, but if she saw the subscriber, to tell him like the truth of what happened. And yeah, so basically what happened is, Kate decided that with all of her friends completely in agreement, right, decided that she was going to ghost the subscriber and basically pretend like he never existed because, his family net worth was not the right number of digits, which is, pretty, quite kind of this like quintessential spoiled brat type moment right there. So yeah, that is the explanation for why the subscriber got ghosted. So the subscriber honestly felt a lot better about being ghosted because at first he kind of felt like, oh, well, this is a reflection of me. Like she's ghosting me because I was like bad on the date, or she just doesn't find me attractive anymore, which is a little bit tough. The subscriber also kind of knew like, hey man, it's a numbers game and you can't let it get to you that much. So it didn't get to the subscriber that much. But the subscriber like genuinely said like, look, I actually feel a lot better now because one, I know it's about like I got like dumped, ghosted, whatever, based on something that's completely out of my control and shouldn't really matter. And also two, I dodged a bullet. Like her dumping me or ghosting me was like a blessing. Like she blessed me by allowing me to dodge her. Because if that's like her priorities, then we're not going to get along well. You know what I mean? So yeah, sure enough, the subscriber felt a lot better after this. And the girl's like, look, I know you're only here on the island. You don't know a lot of people and you're only here briefly or temporarily or whatever. But please do not tell anyone I told you this. I could get in a lot of trouble. Like they'd get really mad at me. The subscriber's like, look, I'm not trying to make your life difficult. I promise it stays between you and me. So anyways, right, life goes on for the subscriber, and about a week later, he's, working, he got a job, like, he didn't have a job at first, but he was able to get a job on the island, I think working at, like, an ice cream shop or something, and this girl comes in, the subscriber thinks, she's pretty cute or whatever, and eventually, she actually gives him his phone, or, yeah, she gives him his phone number, lol. Now, she gives him her phone number, and, they end up going on a date. However, the place that they go on a date at is the same restaurant that Kate, the girl from earlier, and a bunch of her friends are also eating at that night. So let's just say this is about to be a really awkward interaction. Real quick, if you made it this far into the video, comment brat down below. That'll be the secret word of the day. So if you made it this far, make sure to comment brat down below. By the way, if you're watching this or listening to this or watching this on YouTube and you use Spotify and you don't follow me on there or listen to the stuff on there too, top link in the description and only link in the pinned comment is the link to the Spotify. And finally, I would really love to know what you guys are doing while watching these videos or listening to them. I actually just find it interesting. It's not even like that important for like a data survey to make better stuff. I just am genuinely curious. Anyways, though, so yeah, so the subscriber got a date with a new girl who, is probably, maybe she's going to be just as bad as the other one. He doesn't really know, but probably not. Like, that's pretty bad, right? So anyways, he gets to the restaurant, he's waiting there for a little bit, and this new girl shows up. And he's like, oh, hey, how's it going, whatever. And they go up to the waiter, and they're like, or not the waiter, the person at the front desk, and like, hey, we got reservations for two under the name subscriber. And they're like, oh, yeah, of course. So they are sat down, and they are sat, as they're walking over to the table, so these aren't booths, these are like tables. So you can see everyone else in the restaurant. As they're walking over to their table, the subscriber locks eyes with a girl at the table right next to them, and that girl is Kate. And they just stare at each other for like 2 seconds and then quickly look away, bro. It is so awkward. And the subscriber's like, ugh, okay. And he's like, you know what? It's not a big deal. We don't talk to each other anymore. We're not friends like that. So the subscriber sits down with the girl. And they take out the menu, and the subscriber has a little bit of small talk. They're looking over the menu, whatever. It's chilling. It's all great. And that is when, he's like, you know what? There's no way this girl's going to, like, do anything. Like, she already ghosted me. She ghosted me because I don't have a billion. My dad didn't invent, like, every, like, train ever or, like, owns every bank in existence. So, yeah, like, she's not going to bother me, right? Like, she doesn't want anything to do with me. However, here's the thing. Before, the subscriber did not have a girl that he was talking to. So she was like, oh, whatever. But now the subscriber has a new girl on a date and she gets really jealous. And now he's like valuable, quote unquote, or whatever. It's kind of stupid, but whatever. So the subscriber's sitting there and his phone is just on the table. And he doesn't have it set so it's like notifications will only be like, you have to unlock the phone to see the notifications. He just has them like available. So he gets a notification on his phone, and it's a text message. And it's a text message from the girl, Kate. And she says, like, hey, what are you doing tonight? And the subscriber immediately, like, tries not to bring attention to the phone, like, quickly shuts it off before the date that he's on with right now can see it, and flips the phone over. So at this point, the subscriber's like low-key kind of mad because he's like, okay, this girl ghosted me for stupid reasons, and now just the second that I actually have an actual date, she decides to almost, I don't know if she actually wants me back, or if she just wants to ruin my chances with this girl so I can't be with anyone. Either way, it's like pretty messed up. So the subscriber like completely turns over his phone, and he's also turned the ringer off. It turns out later on he like picks up his phone after a lot of stuff that's about to happen, which I'm about to tell you about. She texted him like 6 other times before realizing that his phone was turned the other way around. But yeah, anyways, the subscriber, for about like 10 minutes or so is just like, talking to the girl. It's like a very normal date. Things are pretty standard. And that's when the Kate girl walks over to the table. And the subscriber sees this in the corner of his eye. And at first, he's probably thinking, okay, this girl is walking kind of in my direction, but she's probably going to walk past me to the bathroom or walk past me to go outside, to go into her car and grab something. Who knows, right? She's definitely not coming up to me, the guy that she ghosted for ridiculous reasons while I'm on a date with another girl, and I don't even know this girl, right? And no. So Kate comes up to him, and she's like, hi, like, what's your name? And like goes up to like the girl that, the subscriber's with right now. And the girl's like, oh, my name's whatever, right? And the subscriber's just like paralyzed. He's like, what the frick, bro? Like, what? And yeah, so basically the Kate goes on to be like, yeah, like this is a subscriber and I, we're friends, haha. And the subscriber's like, no, get out of it. Nah. Yeah, so eventually, the girl's like, all right, well, just want to say hello. And Kate walks away. So the subscriber's sitting there super awkwardly with this new girl. And the way that, like, Kate said we're friends, like, she was able to put the right emphasis on it, so it was pretty clear that they were not just friends. Even though they were, they went on a couple dates, but it wasn't really that deep. It definitely wasn't more deep than that. But yeah, the rest of, unfortunately, right, this actually kind of messed up things for the subscriber, because he had, like, some flow with the original date and this girl, and completely messed up the flow, like, absolutely messed it up. But anyways, right, yeah, so the rest of the date is pretty messed up, and the subscriber's kind of mad after this. So the girl that he's on a date with, eventually gets, like, another ride home or whatever, because, like, they took, like, I don't know, they just, like, walked over, or she took, like, public transportation or something, and he drove over, and, like, best case scenario, since she didn't drive over in a car, and, like, they both kind of knew that, like, she would go back with him, basically, but since the date went so poorly, she just went back, and the only reason it went poorly was because of this super weird interaction with Kate coming over. So the subscriber is kind of just, like, sitting outside as, like, the girl walks away, and he's, like, kind of upset, and that's when he notices in the corner of his eye, Kate comes up to him, and he kind of looks at her, and he's like, what was that in the restaurant? And she's like, oh, like, I just want to make sure that you weren't making any mistakes. The subscriber's like, what? Like, what is that supposed to mean? And Kate goes on to be like, well, I know that, like, I know I did ghost you and everything, but, I just needed a little time to think. And it looked like, you were going out with another girl. I just want to make sure that it was clear that you guys were just going to be friends. The subscriber's like, what are you talking about? And Kate's like, well, I've thought about it. And you know what? Maybe you wouldn't be so bad. So I'm willing to go on another date with you. And the subscriber is just so completely blown away by what she just said. She just said, I've thought about it, and I've decided that I will, I guess, go on another date with you. Like, she has some crazy power dynamic over him. And yeah, so she literally ruined his date on purpose just to get him to, like, go on a date with her. And the subscriber's like, no, I'm not going on a date with you. And Kate's like, what? And he's like, yeah, I'm not going on a date with you. Like, do you need me to spell it out or something? And she's like, whoa, but why? Like, I'm pretty. Like, I come from a good family. Like, I'd be able to give you so much. Like, why would this not work? The subscriber's like, I just don't like going on dates with jerks. He turns around and walks away. He saw Kate 1 or 2 other times on the island. They would like see, they just like would be in the same area, and they'd make eye contact for a second and then quickly look away. But he never had another full-length conversation with her. However, he did, that girl that like told him about like what Kate was saying about him and the reason why she goes to him originally. The subscriber sees that girl again, and that girl is like, hey, like, like, that's awesome what you said to Kate. And the subscriber's like, what? And she's like, oh, yeah, sorry. Remember, like, I'm friends with, Kate-ish. Like, I'm just happen to be in the same circle, like, social circle. Like, Kate told some people, dude, you completely decimated her ego. Like, she is destroyed after that. Like, no one has ever done that to her. It was like I hate to be mean to my quote-unquote friend, but, like, she definitely did deserve it. So, yeah, the subscriber eventually does get a little bit of revenge. And that is the end of the story. So if you want to support the channel, click on the video on screen right now. If you're listening on Spotify, just watch another podcast, and peace.